This is the total lie zone. You could literally be on fire, but if the cashier asks, you say, doing great, thanks.
Got it. Level 1, lying is polite. I want you to visualize a very specific, and I mean a very painful moment. You're at work.
Uh-oh.
You're walking down one of those long hallways, with the buzzing fluorescent lights. You're holding, like, a stack of papers or maybe just clutching your coffee mug for dear life.
Okay, I'm with you.
And you see a coworker coming from the other direction. You know them, but you don't know them.
Ah, the dreaded acquaintance zone.
Exactly, the acquaintance zone. So, you're doing the math in your head, and they get about 10 feet away. They lock eyes. They flash that smile, and they say loud and clear, "Hey, how are you?"
And just like that, the trap is sprung.
It really is, because, you're a polite person. You want to do the right thing, so you stop walking, you take a breath, you start to answer honestly. You say, "Well, actually, I've been having a kind of a tough week." And then you look up.
Let me guess, they're gone.
Gone, 20 feet down the hall. They didn't even slow down. It's like they threw the question at me like a frisbee and just kept jogging.
Like classic drive-by greeting.
And I'm just standing there talking to a water cooler, feeling totally rejected. It's so disorienting. I'm thinking, why did you ask me a question if you absolutely did not want the answer?
It creates this, visceral, confusing feeling, doesn't it?
Yes.
But here's the thing you have to understand. You're analyzing it as a linguistic exchange, but what just happened wasn't really about language. It was primate behavior.
Primate behavior.
Yeah.
I'm in an office building, not, a jungle.
You are, but the mechanism's pretty much the same. We are diving deep today into the how are you trap.
Mm-hmm.
And to get why this hallway horror story happens, we have to talk about something called phatic communication.
Phatic. Okay, like Phatic.
Exactly.
Okay.
The term was actually coined by an anthropologist, Bronislaw Malinowski, way back in the early 1900s. He was studying how humans use language not just for facts, but to, bond.
Okay.
And he realized that a huge chunk of what we say, phatic communication, has basically zero meaning. Its only job is to signal social connection.
So when my coworker says, "How are you?" the actual definition of those words just doesn't matter.
Not even a little bit. It's the verbal equivalent of a dog wagging its tail, or primates grooming each other. When a chimp picks a flea off another chimp, it's not really about hygiene.
Right.
It's about saying, I am here, I see you, and I am not going to attack you.
That puts a very different spin on my morning coffee run. It's just, I am not going to attack you.
Essentially, yeah. It's a friction reducer. But the problem is that American English uses a grammatical question, how are you, to do this job. If we just, grunted at each other, it would be a lot clearer.
It would be so much clearer.
But because it sounds like a real inquiry into your well-being, people try to answer it.
And that's where the whole train goes completely off the rails.
Yeah.
So if it's not a question, what is it? Just a script?
It is absolutely a script. In fact, you'd almost call it a handshake protocol, like in computer programming. You know how two computers connect? They send a quick signal just to acknowledge the connection?
But like a ping, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Like a ping. In American English, the handshake is, how are you? Good, you? Good. That's it. That is the entire purpose of the exchange.
Okay, so let's break that down. The algorithm. Because if I'm listening to this and I want to survive the hallway without feeling weird, I need the rules.
Right. And the sources are really clear on this. To nail the handshake, your response needs 3 key elements. It must be short, it must be positive, and you have to bounce it back.
Short, positive, bounce.
Speed is number 1. It's all about rhythm. If I say, how are you? The gap before you answer has to be milliseconds.
Okay, let's test the reflex. I'm your coworker. Hey, how are you?
You do.
Not bad. See, that was light and fast. I didn't even have time to think about how I actually am.
You physically can't. If you stop to think, you've already failed the interaction. The positive part, though, is where people get hung up.
Oh, for sure. Because it feels like lying. If I'm having a terrible day, saying good just feels wrong.
But you have to remember Malinowski. You're not reporting facts. You're signaling social safety. When you say good, you're saying, I am stable and I'm not a threat. If you say bad, you're introducing friction. You're flagging a problem that the other person now feels like they have to solve.
And that explains the bounce part, too. Good you.
Right. You have to return the serve. If you just say good and stop talking, it's like leaving someone hanging for a high five. It breaks that little loop of reciprocity.
Okay, so we know the script. But I really want to talk about what happens when you burn the script, because I
Yeah.
have definitely done this. I have been the oversharer.
Oh, the overshare.
Yeah.
We've all been tracked by one, or we've been one. It's a rite of passage.
I remember this one time a barista asked me how I was, and I was done. I was exhausted. My car had broken down, and I just unloaded. I was like, you know what? I'm really stressed about money, and I think my cat is sick.
Oh, no. And let me guess the reaction. A frozen smile.
A total system reboot. She just stared at me for a second and then slowly typed latte into the machine.
You committed what we call a context violation. See, when you drop that kind of heavy information on a stranger, you're not just sharing. You're demanding emotional labor.
Emotional labor.
Yeah, you're basically forcing them to process your pain, come up with a sympathetic response, and adjust their whole mood all inside a 10-second transaction. It's a really expensive request.
That makes me feel kind of bad, actually. I just thought I was being authentic.
And there's a time and place for authenticity. But the how are you trap, isn't it? That barista doesn't have the time or the training to be your therapist. She just needs to know if you want oat milk.
It's funny because even saying something more neutral, like tired, can kill the vibe.
Tired is so tricky. It seems harmless, right? It's not my world is falling apart.
Yeah.
But in a high-energy culture like the US, tired is kind of a downer. It's like throwing sand in the gears of the optimism machine.
So are we just saying there's zero room for truth? Do I have to be a robot who just says, good thanks, for the rest of my life?
Not exactly. This is where we get into the advanced level. Let's call it the hierarchy of honesty.
Okay, I'm ready. Walk me through the levels.
Level 1, strangers and service workers. This is the total lie zone. You could literally be on fire, but if the cashier asks, you say, doing great, thanks.
Got it. Level 1, lying is polite.
Level 2, coworkers and acquaintances. Here, you can't trauma dump, but you can use code words.
Ooh, I love code words. Give me some.
Hang in there.
Classic.
Hanging in there is brilliant. It literally means I am dangling over a cliff, but socially it just means I'm struggling, but I'm handling it so you don't need to do anything.
It flags the difficulty without demanding any help.
Precisely. Or another one is can't complain.
Which always means I have so many complaints, but I will not burden you with them.
But my absolute favorite, and this is getting a lot of attention in linguistics right now, is the phrase, living the dream.
Oh, living the dream. I hear this constantly. And it is never, ever said by someone who is actually living any kind of dream.
Never. It is always said with this dead-eyed stare at 8:30 in the morning on a Tuesday.
It's pure sarcasm, right?
It is, but it's functional sarcasm. It creates a bond. When you say living the dream, you're acknowledging the absurdity of the whole situation, the grind, the 9 to 5, but you're doing it with a smile. It's a way of saying, hey, we're both in this corporate machine, but we're keeping it together.
It's like a secret handshake for the moderately miserable.
It connects to this bigger idea of performative workaholism. In American culture, especially these days, being busy has become a status symbol.
That is so true. If you say, I'm so busy, people act like you just won an award.
Right. 100 years ago, status was leisure. If you're rich, you did nothing. Now, if you're important, you're totally swamped. So saying busy but good is actually kind of humble brag. It says, I am in demand.
So busy is the one negative emotion that's actually a positive signal.
Exactly. It validates your worth in the whole capitalist hierarchy. Depressed lowers your value. Busy raises it.
That is incredibly dark, but also very helpful.
Welcome to sociology.
So we've been talking about this like America is just one big place. But I know for a fact this plays out differently depending on where you are.
Oh, massively. The how are you trap has all kinds of regional flavors.
Okay, take me on a tour. Let's say I'm in New York City. What's the protocol?
New York is fascinating because outsiders think New Yorkers are rude. They often don't ask, how are you? They might just nod or grunt.
The famous New York scowl.
Right. But sociologists call this civil inattention. Just think about the density. You pass thousands of people a day. If you had to do the how are you script with every single one, you'd lose your mind by noon.
So ignoring someone is actually a form of politeness.
It's granting you privacy in a public space. It's respectful. But the flip side is, if a New Yorker actually stops and asks you, how are you? They usually mean it. They don't waste words on fluff.
Efficient intimacy. I like it. Okay, contrast that with the South.
The South is a totally different universe. It's a high-context culture built on community. You have to inquire, how are you? How's your mama? Y'all doing okay?
But do they want the real answer to all that?
They want the connection. They want to reaffirm that web of relationships. It's warmer, for sure, but it's also more demanding. You can't just opt out.
And then you have the Midwest. The land of nice.
The Midwest is where the script can actually malfunction because people are almost too polite to end it. It's what I call the politeness loop.
Good, you. Not bad. How about you? Pretty good, you.
It's like two Roombas just gently bumping into each other forever. No one wants to be the first person to walk away, so you just kind of vibe in the aisle until one of you expires.
I have been stuck in that loop in a grocery store in Ohio. It is a real phenomenon.
And then there's the West Coast, California, Seattle. It's kind of paradoxical. It's very casual and chill, but also very guarded. You get a lot of that optimization talk, stressed but good, just grinding.
The wellness filter. Everything gets framed as self-improvement.
Exactly. Even their problems are projects. Like, I'm working on my mindfulness regarding my stress.
Okay, so we've covered all the fake questions, but surely sometimes people actually do want to know how I am.
Yes. And this is crucial, because if you treat every single question as a script, you're going to come off like a sociopath. You have to learn to spot the script breakers.
Okay, what are the cues? How do I know when it's safe to drop the mask?
The biggest one, and this sounds weird, is physical. Watch their feet.
Their feet.
Yep. If someone asks, how are you, and their feet keep moving, it's a script. If they stop, plant their feet, turn their shoulders to you, and make sustained eye contact, that is an invitation.
The plant and pivot.
Exactly. It signals, I am not going anywhere. I have created space for your answer.
What about verbal cues?
Look for the double tap. You give the standard answer, good thanks, and then they ask a follow-up. Really, you seem a little off today. Or, how did that big meeting go?
Specificity.
Specificity destroys the script. Generalities sustain it. If they ask about a specific event, how are you holding up after the layoffs? Do not say living the dream. That's when you answer the real question.
There's also a generational shift here, isn't there? I feel like my Gen Z cousins answer this question so differently than my boomer uncle does.
Huge difference. We're seeing the rise of therapy speak in everyday language.
Yeah.
Younger generations, Gen Z and younger millennials, they place a much higher value on emotional authenticity.
So they might actually just say, I'm feeling really anxious today.
Yes, and to them, that's being a good communicator. It's being honest. But if they say that to a boomer boss who expects the short, positive bounce script, that boss might think they're being unprofessional or, fragile.
It's a clash of operating systems.
It really is.
Yeah.
One generation values social smoothness, keeping a stiff upper lip. The other values authenticity and vulnerability. Neither is wrong, they just don't mix well in the hallway.
So the advice is really just read the room.
Always read the room. If you're talking to the CEO, use the script. If you're talking to your 20-year-old intern, you might have a little more room to be real.
I want to pivot to one last scenario that I find just excruciating. The phone call.
Ah, the disembodied voice.
You pick up the phone, it's a vendor or HR or, heaven forbid, a cold caller, and they always start with, "Hi, this is Steve. How are you today?"
This is the ultimate trap.
Yeah.
Because you can't see their feet. You have no body language to read.
And it feels so manipulative, especially if it's a sales call.
Well, it is manipulative. In a sales context, they're trying to force a yes. If they can get you to engage in that polite social ritual, it's psychologically harder for you to just hang up on them.
It's weaponized politeness.
That's a great way to put it. But even with coworkers, the phone "how are you" is almost always just a hurdle. They have a reason for calling you. They have an agenda. And the greeting is just the key to unlock the door to that agenda.
So if I answer with a long story, I'm basically just holding the door shut on them.
You're stealing their time. On a business call, honestly, the most polite thing you can do is answer the script instantly so they can get to the point. Good, thanks. What can I do for you?
That transition, what can I do for you? That feels like a power move.
It is. It acknowledges the greeting, but immediately pivots to business. It's efficient, it's professional, it's perfect.
So if we zoom out on all of this, we've talked about the hallway, the coffee shop, all these different situations. It feels like the big takeaway is that we need to stop expecting language to always be about literal truth.
That is the aha moment. We tend to think of language as a way to transmit information. The sky is blue. I am hungry, but how are you? Isn't information transmission. It's social grooming.
It's just checking the connection.
It's saying, I see you, we are part of the same tribe, I'm following the rules. And once you accept that, a lot of the annoyance just fades away. It's not a lie, it's just manners.
It's the grease in the gears of society.
And we need that grease. Otherwise, we're all just bumping into each other and sparking.
So for everyone listening, here's your mission for this week. Just observe the script. Watch it happen around you.
Watch yourself do it. Notice that millisecond reflex where you just blurt out, good. you, before your brain even catches up.
And if you do find yourself in that awkward spot, you're really struggling, but you're stuck in that hallway, remember the power of living the dream.
It's the perfect deflection. It follows the script while also winking at the absurdity of the whole thing.
It's the most honest lie we have.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, I'm going to go get some coffee and tell the barista that I am definitely hanging in there.
And I'm going to go practice my civil inattention in the hallway.
Thanks for diving deep with us.
See you next time.